So, hello everyone, and welcome to this 10 Questions About Cloud podcast. Today we have a very special guest, an expert in cloud computing, an influencer with over 30K connections on LinkedIn, and more than 60 cloud certifications. Welcome, Yujun Liang.
Hello, everyone. Thanks.
Yeah, we will basically start now with the podcast, and let's start with the 10 questions about cloud. I always use this first question to introduce yourself, basically who you are and what you do.
Hi, good morning, good evening. Depends on where you are. I'm speaking from Dallas. So right now I work as a chief architect for hybrid cloud environment for insurance company. I've been in the IT industry for more than 30 years and experienced many changes. Whenever I started working on that, I just see things coming and go. A lot of new technologies when it come. I just get in the habit of learning what's most popular on the market and keep me up to date.
Cool.
Yeah, cool.
Nice introduction. I'm curious, how was your cloud journey? Maybe you can tell us about your first steps towards the cloud.
Yeah, my cloud journey actually start from cloud certifications. So when I worked for a financial company in 2015, that company decided to go to cloud, and the management like people to get certified. So at the beginning, I didn't embrace. So it took me a while because people try to change. And that time, we were very busy working on DevOps. And then one day, it just I says, okay, I see cloud is coming. So I listened to a Cloud Guru video. Ryan Kunenberg did a very good job of convincing me cloud is the future. So I started doing AWS certifications. In 2016, that time only 5 of them. So I just get all 5 in 4 months and found a job, very good job from a consulting company. And the reason I go to consulting company is I want to learn from other experts. Consulting is a very dynamic environment. You just go to any kind of a client to study their environment and offer services. So that particular experience helped me experience so many different environments, and then I can think about solution, not only just for one particular company, but for the entire industry. So
very cool. And in your opinion, you already told us how experienced you are with the cloud already longer than 5 years. So what are the biggest pros and cons of the cloud? Or in other words, why would you recommend a company to migrate to the cloud?
Cloud gave there's some character associated with cloud computing, which is very useful for enterprise, big or small. One is the expenditure model has changed from capital environment to expense based, meaning you pay what you use. Not you don't have to worry about investing huge amount of investment upfront. You just provision a small footage of the computing resources and do the job. And when your business grow, you can just provision more. For big enterprise, cloud give you elasticity. So meaning you have so many workload, and some workload only serve a certain time of the period. On-prem model, you need to keep your computer running all the time. So you invest and grow and grow. You have a huge data center footprint, which costs you a lot of money. But in the cloud, you can shut down the resources and not paying if you don't need it. So and that way you can schedule on and off based on the DevOps model and the infrastructure as code. And that way you can just have the resources when you need it. You just turn them off and you don't want them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a huge saving of cost.
Yeah, totally agree. That's definitely a huge pro of the cloud. So now let's change a little bit the topic. We believe that cloud computing knowledge is going to be a looked after skill over the coming years for almost any job. Pretty much like knowing Microsoft Excel or Word. I mean, really a standard. What do you think about that? Do you think that cloud is going to be really a standard in the industry?
Cloud, yes, cloud will be a standard, but before we getting there, there will be a lot of opportunity in this area. So normally, in the existing company, there are people who work on the traditional data center model, and also there are people working on the cloud migration. And the cloud migration right now we can see is really hard to hire people. So not many people with these skills like infrastructure as code, like DevOps, like the people who understand how cloud works. The cloud, things are different from the on-prem. On-prem is there are a lot of hardware. On cloud, there are no hardware for the user. They only see a console or API or a command line interface. That's how people use those tools to provision the resources. They can just write a Terraform, a CloudFormation, or Google Deploy Manager code and spring up a data center in a couple of minutes. That's amazing. Yeah. So I have done some work on this. Every time I enjoy, and of course I cannot see the data center, but I know it's there somewhere in the cloud.
Exactly, somewhere in the cloud.
Yeah,
really like it. So one of the most common questions we get around is which cloud provider to use. We would like to know what are the key factors you consider when using a cloud provider.
So I use the many cloud provider already. For example, I used AWS, I used Google. I had a little bit of experience on Microsoft Azure and looked at Alibaba cloud as well. So from my understanding, when you choose cloud, one factor is you have to consider how many availability zone they have. The more availability zone, the better for you, because you can just choose a data center close to you and you provision your resources. And also, if they have a more availability zone or region, you can design your disaster recovery to have your workload in another region. When the disaster happens in one region, it can be spring up in another region immediately.
Yeah.
So this is one factor. Another factor is the skill set. How easy you can find the people with the certain skill set. So right now I can see there are a lot of people with AWS skill set, but not many people with Google Cloud or Oracle Cloud skill set. So they are doing kind of a training and certification to make more people be aware of this. From my opinion, everybody is one cloud. It's just like a Coca-Cola, Pepsi, and the Dr. Pepper. Everybody will get a piece of pie in the market. So no matter what cloud you use, you learn the skill and be an expert, you will have a many job opportunity in the upcoming years.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
So, following this topic, in recent years, the word multi-cloud has become really trendy. Like everyone talks about multi-cloud ecosystems. What's your opinion about multi-cloud approaches?
Uh, Sorry, I didn't. I'm not familiar with this term.
Multi-cloud.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This um, multi-cloud.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw the Moody Cloud because their English word Moody. That's a financial company.
Oh, okay.
I
No,
also
no.
yeah. Multi-cloud that become trendy because when people look for services, they cannot find the service they need from a single cloud. I can give you an example. Some company, when they operate in Japan, when they try to look a solution to scan their documentation and do the machine learning, they just found the other cloud cannot recognize Japanese character. Then they found out Google can offer that feature. So even the majority of a cloud of that company is on AWS, but that particular operation choose to use a Google Vision API for their application. So and that's how it works at this time. So since we have so many competitor uh, in the marketplace, people can just go and they choose the best service provider, not as the whole, but as the individual services.
Totally. I mean, and following this topic of multiple clouds, multiple platforms, there are already a lot of players in the cloud market. I mean, AWS around 31% of the market, Asia 20%, Google Cloud 6%, and the rest of the clouds 37%. How do you share, or how do you see the future? How is going to look into the market share?
I think the market share will be like this for a while, and with the possibility Google Cloud may take over Azure and become number two. So I know they're working on that, and they try to get some market share from Microsoft. But as to whether that's going to happen, I I don't have the insight to make a judgment. But I just, from my understanding,
Mhm.
it may happen, but it doesn't matter. But as long as everybody is working hard, the entire pie will be growing. So even the market share doesn't grow, keep the same, the total consumption volume will be growing. Like last year, AWS grew a certain percentage, Azure grew, Google growth, everybody is in the growth mode.
Mhm. All right. Yeah, I really think the same that the three big players are going to be there for a while.
Yeah.
Um,
Don't forget the fourth one, Oracle, they just concentrate the market this year and they started aggressively to because they are special offering database. A lot of companies use their databases and even they are late in the market, they um, acted very progressively. I can see Oracle will grow to a certain percentage, but I don't know how much it is, but I'm sure they will grow to be a sizable provider.
okay, cool. Very
Yeah.
interesting. Let's see in the future.
Yeah.
So another topic is that during the last years, we have seen how the Chinese market is growing. I mean, the last year, the Chinese cloud infrastructure increased more than 63%. What do you think? Are the Chinese public cloud providers going to grow also a lot? How do you see the future here?
I didn't pay attention to Chinese market as much because my focus is in US. But while I work for a consulting company, we did have some contact with Alibaba Cloud, which is the largest cloud provider in China. They have a very big presence in Africa, in Asia, and some of Europe. I can see they're doing well, and a lot of people getting certified. And that means there must be some market presence. That's why people are going for their certifications. So another one is Tencent. Tencent is the cloud running largest social media in the world. I don't know whether you use WeChat, but WeChat is the most popular social media platform in China. Almost everybody uses it. And so Tencent plan to expand. They are doing some promotion in outside of China as well. They have office in US as well, and they just do marketing. I have a friend who work for them as well. Sometimes they also hiring. Yeah.
Do you see these Chinese public cloud providers growing as high as the American cloud providers?
In US, I see they have some difficulty in concentrating the market because US, they're already very crowded with local cloud provider. So that will be very difficult to them to gain the market share. But in the rest of the world, that's a possibility. And as a matter of fact, Ali can be the number 4 service provider in the cloud space. Really, they have a huge market share outside the US, which is in Asia, Africa, and some part of Europe. So I see they will get a piece of pie as well.
Cool. Really interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically now I would like to know if you could share with us what are the last thing or the latest thing that you learned about cloud. It can be just a technical topic, strategic, certification, whatever you want to share.
It's like so a lot of company has been going through this cloud migration journey, and a lot of developer, they have some misconception. They always think, okay, cloud is an infrastructure. So the infrastructure people will do the cloud migration for us. We're just sitting there and doing the same thing, which is wrong. After I started working on cloud, I used to be a developer, by the way. I used to be a Java developer, Java architect, and DevOps, and then I moved to the cloud infrastructure. So my job changed dramatically. But I had the huge span of roles in IT. So I know network as well after I come to cloud. And the biggest challenge is there are not many infrastructure people can do the cloud migration. One, we either to educate everybody become infrastructure people, or the developers need to learn some cloud skill and do the migration by themselves. For example, when I worked for a financial company in 2016, that company had a vision. The easiest way to do migrations is to do containerization. So that leader is very visionary. But at that time, since I was a Java developer, I wasn't really good at the Linux, so I had a lot of challenges when I struggled a lot when I do the containerization because the code inside the Docker file is just a bunch of Linux shell script. When I looked at it, I really couldn't understand what it does. And then that Linux skill is a very important skill for developers to do containerization. So if a developer, they need to learn Linux, and that's what I'm doing right now. So I started learning Linux ever after that container project. So I just Linux is not a strong type language. Not like Java, you have a compiler can tell you which is wrong, which is correct, but you just need to type in and run it because no compiler can tell you whether the code. So you have to do a lot of hands-on. I found out Linux Foundation, they provide a hands-on performance-based certification. They call it Linux Foundation Certified System Administrator. And that certification is quite fun. So I spent a lot of time preparing for it. So then I finally get certified this month. So right now I'm a Linux Foundation certified system administrator. It doesn't mean I will go back to do the Linux admin job, but this skill will help me to understand how to write a container. Because when you write a container, you check into the repo after scan, you can deploy to Kubernetes environment. That's how you can it doesn't matter which cloud you choose, you can just deploy the container to the Kubernetes engine provided by different cloud. So that's something right now I'm really interested. I believe this is a way you can solve a lot of cloud migration skill gap problem. So you don't need a lot of infrastructure people to do migration. Developers can be enabled to do self-service.
Yeah, totally agree. And congratulations, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
So we are about to finish. Just a last question. You already know that there are a lot of sources and information out there, and it's hard sometimes to choose which information do you want to learn and to get. Could you share with us which sources do you use to keep yourself up to date about the updates in the cloud?
I use a low-cost online service provider, online training providers.
Okay.
I use a Cloud Guru, and I use Udemy. I use Coursera,
Okay.
and also and I use LinkedIn a lot because on LinkedIn a lot of people share the free training resources. So when I see something is free, if I think it's useful, I will share as well. So if you follow me on LinkedIn, then you will get what's available over there to help you to advance your career. That's LinkedIn is a really great platform to do professional development. Like Pablo, we know each other from LinkedIn.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Very cool. So, I mean, that was it. It was really fun. I really learned a lot from you. And of course, I would like you to thank for your time and for participating. Really happy to have you here with us. And I will leave all your social networks, LinkedIn, and all the stuff in the description in case someone wants to contact you.
No problem. Yeah, I'm happy to help. I would like to see people making progress. Yeah, so when everybody making progress, we can make this world a better place for ourselves. Yeah.
Good message. Really like it. So that was it.